Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 55 of the Under Review podcast. I am your host, Todd. Alongside me is my co-host, Marty.
What's up, brother?
All right. So we had a pretty good episode last week. If you missed it out, go check it out. It is on the YouTube channel and it is on the Spotify. Very fun episode. In my opinion, I had the most fun recording that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I always feel like when we do lives, I feel better and more comfortable because there is questions coming from outside people other than just me and you, what we make up beforehand.
Right. So, and two, if you haven't got a chance, y'all guys flip over to HCS Media. Hayden Coker show, he did his preview of a couple of teams. Really good episode.
Yeah, it was very good. And like I said,
he's a professional, so.
Yeah, just love hearing what he has to offer, his intake. And spoiler, he is our guest star, or guest speaker, week 1 to open up the season.
Woo, that sounds like fun.
I've talked to him. He's also, I'm going to ask him, but I'm pretty sure he's down with it. Do the championship game like he did last year. Just having his insight, especially in the unknown week, what I called it, having his insight to help us trying to navigate some of this early games.
When did y'all get all that cleared up?
Last week, I want to say.
I worked with him twice this week, and he hasn't said not one word.
Yeah, I think I was at lunch one day, and I texted him. It was that day where I was when I sent you, and last Thursday, I want to say.
Sure enough, I've worked with him at least twice since then. The other day he said, "Hey Marty, how's that podcast going with your brother?" I said, "Pretty good." He just,
but anyways, go ahead.
I said he's wide open. He's 156 miles an hour, so when he hits the front door till it's time for him to clock out.
Yeah, I understand. But before we get started, we are going to bring you our ranking, the Under Review podcast ranking, from the worst quarterback to the best quarterback inside the starting quarterback, I should say, inside the SEC this year. Marty gave me I made a list. Marty made a list. We put them together, and it's our average position. We think that these players are ranked. Some of them are you ain't seen them perform, or they're coming into. So it's going to be really interesting to see what we have in store for you today. But first, I want to hit a couple shout-outs. Shout out to, as always, God for getting us back here for another episode. Couldn't do it without him. Definitely needed him today with all the shenanigans we had going on. Next, I want to thank our beautiful wives for the love and support that they do for us and we do for them. And another week that they haven't killed us yet, so we're pretty good.
Solid point. That's the biggest thing.
Next, I want to shout out Tactical Home and Pest, Benjamin Dominguez, 256-592-2842. And then Precise Roofing and Restoration, 205-505-0833. Call Jeremy Burnham for your roofing needs. Also want to hip the Dadpod with Hunter and Nick. Yeah, hiccup. Tism. With Hunter and Nick. Hunter, Brassfield, and Nicholas. I'll get it out in a little bit. I'm just too excited. I'm ready for this one.
Right.
Like we said before, HCS Media. And then we also want to thank Brandon Trammell, Jud Dickinson, and Cody Mealer, who hopefully will be joining us real soon.
Should be. Like I said, he's...
Not today, but,
No. His schedule is so chaotic with work and all his extra he's got going on and going back to school. So I'm lucky if I can slow him down long enough to talk to him.
Yeah, more power to him. But before we get all started and dandy here, let's take a quick second to hear from our sponsor.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
Thank you again for Jud Dickinson for that amazing call on Chuck's Heating and Air. Just call Chuck for all your heating and air needs. All right.
So, like I said, I think you ran through the slide part first, and I was just going to kind of move it around. But no, we're not. I guess we are doing the top 16 quarterbacks. So, I mean, this is kind of what's that? What was that?
I didn't hear it.
Either Knox or chicken.
Or both.
That's possible. So I'm not going to say starting at the bottom of the barrel, but this is how we're going to start it. And apparently Hayden said we spelled that wrong, but it is what it is.
Well, at least he helped us, right?
That's a solid point.
All right, so we're bringing in number 16, who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Missouri Tigers, Bo.
That's what he said.
Prabula?
Prabiro. I don't know. I think, yeah. Nifty boy.
So he started his career at Penn State. He's coming in as a sophomore out of the 2022 recruiting class. His career stats are, I hate that button, 35 completions on 56 attempts, 66 completion rating, 424 yards, 9 touchdowns to 1 interception, 94 carries on 570 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6.1 carries. So it looks like a totally different than Brady Cook was last year. Mm-hmm. He looks like he wants to run the ball.
Now, see, he's their main guy because didn't Drew Pine leave as well?
Correct. We did cover that.
Right, and that's what I thought. So this is going to bring a new look to the Missouri offense. Probably, like you said, a more of a run style heavy with this Bo kid. So going to be interesting to see because we don't have a whole lot on them since we don't cover much Big Ten from time to time.
I mean, I got a couple stats here. Played against West Virginia, 1 pass. Played a lot, or I would say play a lot, but had 13 passes in the Wisconsin win. 98 yards, 1 touchdown. You know, not really looking like a lot. You know, but again, this is what we were talking about. This kid sat behind Drew Aller, so you're not going to get a lot of stats from this guy.
No.
So he's just trying to make, as a sophomore,
okay,
his big coming in Missouri, but with the short amount of stats that we have on it and the unknown, going into the unknown part again, I think we both had him probably at 16. I want to say that was a pretty fair choice. You know, I want to see more from this kid. I really do. But can his lack of experience inside the SEC prevail him and the Missouri Tigers team to some victories this year?
I think I like him. As much as we rant and raved on Missouri being so high last year, I think this year's going to give them a chance to work up to that, and this is going to have to probably be your starting point for your offense with any offense. But I think he's going to have to fit in and be that leader as a sophomore.
I mean, definitely. But I mean, you know, we've talked about it. Missouri last year was definitely very much well overrated.
Yeah, we said that once or twice.
You probably hit every episode. I at least tried to say it. But a fair choice, you know. They didn't have anything, really. They had Brady Cook, and then when Brady Cook went down, they really, really didn't have anything. You know, it wasn't for them.
Yeah. Of course, if you're watching the YouTube and you see me get jumpy, it's because you can't hear it, but I can hear Knox screaming at the top of his lungs.
So you actually had this kid ranked at 13 on your list.
Wow, did he go that high?
He did.
Okay. I thought I had my list, but I guess
Here, I'll send it to you as well. It's in our notes.
But
I'll send it to you.
But no, it's going to be interesting because I think he still has a few targets there that he can work with. But if he opens up this ground game, okay, there it is.
Yeah, he has. If he can officially run the ball. He's got a chance inside the SEC. So I'm very much surprised to see what he brings to this team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Go ahead, and we'll get to number 15 on the list. And we're talking about Blake Shapen. I can't spell. Shapen.
I think it's actually spelled right on the screen. So,
well, no, it is. I just can't spell on my keyboard. So we're talking about Blake Shapen here. We're talking about a kid that started his career at Baylor. Yep, Baylor. A 2-year starter at Baylor Bears. Then transferred to Mississippi State last year, and then got hurt. Want to say week 1 or 2?
Yeah, 1 or 2, yeah.
Real early. Decided to use that medical red shirt on the kid, and hopefully a good season coming out of Shapen here. But his career stats are 6,548 passing yards, 44 touchdowns on 553 completions, on 860. Okay, that was different from the last slide. That's what confused me.
Yeah, these are just how I got it put together, so they're all different.
It's all right. 64 completion percentage. Rushing wise, Shapen has also rushed for touchdowns during his career. Very, very broad. I love it. He rushed for 29 yards and 20. Yeah.
It gets even better. So,
it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns on his career rushing. So not your running quarterback. Definitely. He had 2 last year though, so I mean he did pretty well.
Yeah, and I think if we can get Mississippi State can get a full year of him, I thought the parts that we did get to see last year of him, I thought looked really good.
Right.
Then that injury early on in the season, I think we were watching the game. I know you and I were talking about it, but
yeah,
that he was done. Who come in after him? Was it Marcel Reed?
Michael Van Buren.
Van Buren. Reed's another red team.
Yeah.
Right.
But so, I really want to see what he can bring if he's healthy. Be very interesting. I don't know who they have as a backup, so that would be a question if he's not ready. But I expect him to be fully healthy and ready to go for the Bulldogs.
I would think so. And I think this is with a lot of these lower guys, and I think even on 1 or 2 of the guys that are top of our list, just the unknown. I think that's going to be the biggest thing in this episode. The unknown, that we're going to have a lot of these guys. But I think Shapen fits here, and maybe at the end of the year, he could be one of them guys that could be at the top of this list next year.
Definitely. Well, he won't be on the list next year, but
yeah.
I think we both had him at a 14 though, but for some reason they slotted him in at 15. So, who knows? But now we're going to bring you Zach Calzada from the Kentucky Wildcats. 731 completions on 1,163 attempts, 8,707 yards, 73 touchdowns to 28 interceptions. And he is a running quarterback, 179 total rushes, 381 yards, but he's short yardage guy, obviously. 11 touchdowns.
There's one stat in this whole episode and slideshow that's crazy to me, and it's on our number 1 guy.
Oh, yeah?
I found it when I was doing my research yesterday, and I was like, just for fun, I got to put it in there.
He probably don't have a lot. He probably got negative if I was correct.
So Calzada, I mean, he didn't ever play any snaps at Auburn, did he?
Did not. He sat out. He played in the spring game. Looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time he touched the field.
And where is he coming from?
He is coming from Incarnate Wood. Don't know where that's at. But same place that Cam Ward came from.
Okay.
Before Washington State. He replaced Cam Ward.
But didn't Cam go to Miami?
Washington State.
Then he went to Miami?
Yeah.
Okay. I still know like him.
He replaced him.
Okay, I got you. Okay, he can suck a peach.
But I like the kid. Started his career at Texas A&M, then went to Incarnate Wood after a year at Auburn, which he didn't play, and then he's transferring back inside the SEC with the Kentucky Wildcats. Going to be really interesting because he's played here before. He's played it. He's beat the teams that have proven to be unbeatable.
Right.
It's just the interceptions.
I was just about to.
It's a big number when you look at the total. Each year besides his freshman year, he's had 9 interceptions. Nothing more, nothing less. Besides his freshman year, 9, 9, 9. But
He's consistent.
Right. His touchdowns have gotten consistently better. His freshman year, too, 2021, 17, 2023, 19, and then 2024, 35 touchdowns last year. So he's gotten consistently better. That's why I think I had him ranked pretty higher than you had him ranked. I had him initially slotted in as my 12th spot.
See, I think
I want to say you had him at 14.
No, I had him at 16. The biggest thing is yes, stats can show, but once he has played big teams and got to them. But are you sure this is my list?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. But no, he's a super young kid. He's got talent, but again, these first 4 or 5 are just going to be a lot of the unknown. Oh, Jesus, son, get it.
Especially this next one.
I'm going to jump to it
And we're taking you to Athens, Georgia for number 13. Gunnar Stockton, 440 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 45 completions, 64 attempts, 70% on completion percentage. That's 88 yards per game. Okay. Negative 13 rushing yards, 5 games played, negative 2.6. But he's not played a lot. Here's the thing. So this is going to be Georgia's starting played at the end of the season, played better than what he did. So it's going to bring. He's got sacked 7 times as well.
And just was that 2.5 games?
Yeah,
he played in. That's no good.
But I had this kid slotted at 11, just right before Zach Calzada, which I feel like he needs more time. But for a regular SEC schedule, this is probably where he needs to be as a 13. Mm-hmm. It's to me, he has a great arm. He looked great.
He's got grit in his gut and fire in his eye. He really was at that playoff game that he come in after Beck got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's got the want to, the will how. We just got to see how it overturns in a full season of SEC play.
Full 13, 14, was it 14 games?
Whatever
season?
It is. Well, we better enjoy it because if they change it and I miss the Iron Bowl every year, I'm going to be not a happy camper.
Yeah. So, Gunnar Stockton, don't prove us wrong because you're Georgia. But, do something.
With the stick, do something.
Do something. I do want to see more out of him. He did look promising. I don't want that to go to waste, for a football fan.
Right.
Not even an Auburn or Georgia and Alabama fan. For a football kid's good, 6'1", 215. It's just, can he calm his nerves, figure it out, find his running back out there in the open.
I think with the season he's going to get under that Georgia coaching staff, it's probably one of the better ones in the nation. So I think he's going to move up the list through the season.
Yeah. Next, we're going to bring you the quarterback from the Arkansas Razorbacks, and that's Taylon Green, who started his career, was a 2-year starter at Boise State University, and then transferred over to Arkansas for his final 2 years here. Last year. Oh, okay. You broke it down like that. Cool. I didn't even notice. But passing at Arkansas, 3,154 yards, 230 completions, 318 attempts, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, 602 on the ground, and 1 touchdown. His Boise career, 1,752 yards, 121 completions, 212 attempts, 11 touchdowns, rushing 436, 9 touchdowns. Accumulates to about 7,173 passing yards, 1,716 rushing yards, 15 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 60% pass completion rating, and then 10 rushing touchdowns.
I had him a little bit higher on my list, but the way it broke down, I like this kid. This kid is a really talented quarterback. Was he a senior this year now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think he's everything Arkansas needs. High passes. He likes to tuck and run. Uh, really think this is going to be a good fit for him this season. Whether they turn that over into wins, because I think Arkansas team could struggle, but he's going to be the reason that they put points on the board.
I had this Taylor Green one slot above where he came in, or below where he came in. I had him at 13. It's just that Arkansas I'm not impressed. I'm really not.
Same.
He lost some weapons, So Taylor Green is a fast guy. He likes to not throw it as much as he does run the ball. Yeah, he's going to have more throwing yards because that's what he's going to hit the slants and the check downs and all this other stuff like a good quarterback does. He has that short to medium game experience. Is that deep ball is not where a gunslinger like some of the guys at the top of our list has.
Right. I mean, he could be maybe just under that top tier quarterback in the SEC, but I think that's all going to land him where his other parts of his offense are going to be effective. His running backs and his wide receivers.
So where did you have him?
I had him at 8.
8. So yeah, you had him almost inside top 10.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just stat wise, really for 3 years is not terrible.
No, it's not really. I mean, it brings us to number 11 on our list, and we're talking about the kid at Tennessee now, Joey Aguilar. 2-year starter at Appalachian State University. It's right there. Career passing stats. I was lost. I was on another screen.
I see.
511 completions on 851 attempts, 766,000. I hate numbers. 6,760 passing yards, 56 touchdown passes, 23 interceptions, and 64% completion percentage. He also rushed for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns in 23 and 207 and 2 touchdowns in 2024. There's not a big sample size on this Aguilar kid.
No.
But if you watch any of the Conference USA, Sunbelt, I don't remember which one it is.
Sunbelt.
Sunbelt, it's on this Piston jersey right there. But if you watched any of that and you've watched any Appalachian State, this kid's name popped up a lot because he was a straight playmaker.
Yeah. A lot of times that don't come open, or you see that on stat sheets as a playmaker. Gritting out the last 3 or 4 yards for the first down. Like you said, I don't know much about him. I've seen a couple of stats on him and this, that, and other, but he's going to be Tennessee's best option. After the whole debacle with Nico Alma running away, hey, Bubby. Sorry. He's going to be Tennessee's best bet, and I think he just right where he's at on this list, just outside the top 10.
I had him right inside the top 10 at number 9, but, the average comes out, which I feel like this is a great spot for him to start out the season. So, who knows? We might do this at the end of the year and see, see how far we missed it.
Well, I had him a little lower. Like I said, he's got that. But I had him all the way down there with Zach at the bottom. But I'm just saying, coming in from the Sun Belt to the SEC, and we've said this is such a dog-eat-dog conference, to come in and win instantly, like your fan base. And that's the selfish thing about SEC fans. When you come into this, you're expected to win every game by 174 points.
And the Third World War.
Exactly. So the expectation on this kid, especially stepping into a historic program like Tennessee, is already out the roof. And hopefully he can stay with it. Because like you said earlier, I want to see all these guys do good, for the conference.
Yeah. that is our fanfare for number 10 as we bring it inside the top 10 quarterbacks, which this one to me, it's a if. It's a big O if.
Mm-hmm.
Playing as a freshman last year, 19 completions, 32 attempts, 228 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't care about QBR. That's not a real stat.
Well, it was just on there.
Number 10, we bring you the kid from Ole Miss, the freshman, Austin Simmons. Me personally, me and Brandon's talked about this. He predicts him to be his player of the year or breakout star, something like that. I don't remember. He has the intangibles.
Yeah.
But you played in a handful of games last year. Garbage time, nothing meaningful.
Yeah.
I mean,
just to get reps and kind of.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. This is the real deal now.
Oh, yeah.
I had him coming in at 15 because I wanted to see more. Like we've talked about, I wanted to see more from this kid because those stats alone could have had him at 19, and we only got 16 quarterbacks in the SEC.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the guys who the potential and the upside is what's kept him high on our list.
I think your list saved him.
Oh yeah, I think so too because I like like you said, the intangibles. What it was a lot of garbage time, and I talked to a few other people, and there's like, kid's gonna be good. Well, we'll see. Like I said, this with all these guys, besides some of your more seasoned guys. But the next one, I think is going to be interesting to watch. And wait, no, wrong one. Anyway.
Oh, well, we're going to watch a lot of him.
Unfortunately, I have to watch him.
And that's going to bring us to it'd be a junior now. Again, we're talking about garbage time plays.
Yeah.
Number 9 on our list is Ty Simpson. Okay. No touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 6 times. It's the best I got.
That's it.
His stats. You can read the stats if you want to.
Yeah, it says Ty Simpson, a sophomore quarterback at the University of Alabama in 2024 season. He played 6 games, accumulating 167 yards, 14 for 25 pass attempts. He also rushed for 44 yards and 1 touchdown on 8 carries. And that was the Mercer game. Most of them were his Mercer stats.
Yeah.
The hype and talk around T-Town and around the consensus Alabama fans that I know that he's going to be the next Jay Barker kind of deal. Didn't Jay wear? No, Jay didn't wear 15. Bart Shaw wore 15. Anyway, squirrel. But no, they're right. I seen a little squirrel going in my head. But no, they're really talking him up. So I think this one here could be a pivotal spot in the SEC where you're up so high and then your performance goes to the can. I think this has the most potential for the biggest fall off. And it's not, and again, for us, I'm not, because we're Auburn fans, I just think there's so much unknown about Ty. The hype is super well around him, but I think this could be the biggest drop of any of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I had him, I still had him inside the top 10. I had him at number 10 to be exact.
Same.
He just didn't. You have a small sample size. Same thing with Austin Simmons. You have a small sample size, but again, with him and Bo and all these other quarterbacks that haven't started a lot of games, and then haven't started a lot of games inside the SEC, how are you going to be able to handle taking 4, 5, 6 hits from a 400-pound defensive lineman,
especially that
or a guy that benches and squats almost 700 pounds?
He can bench or squat you 3 or 4 times.
So, I don't know. I mean, Ty Simpson's here at number 9. But again, he has the ability to crack that top 5 at the end of the season.
Oh, most definitely.
But also drop down to that bottom.
Right. I think this is the high risk, high reward situation with Simpson. because, and with, like I said earlier, with any fan base, we're expected to win. But I think, especially with Alabama and their history, he's going to have the most pressure on him in the SEC. Besides, I think the next guy.
Yeah, and that brings us to the kid starting for the Orange and Blue, the Auburn Tigers. It is number 8 on our list, Jackson Arnold, 154 completions, 246 attempts, 62 completion percentage, 1,421 yards, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, rushing yards, 444. So Jackson Arnold started his career at Oklahoma as a true freshman, got a lot of playing time, then started last year for the majority of the season. Did he start the whole season?
I don't know about the whole season.
I don't know, but played. I know that. But again, one of the teams we didn't really look at a lot, so we don't really. Which we're gonna get better, I promise. Hopefully,
our podcast. But so I like I said before we even got into this quarterback episode, is I think Jackson Arnold was the best transfer in the SEC as far as SEC to SEC school. Again, and the same thing as I said about Ty, especially for Auburn fans, he has the biggest expectations in the world because, and I think there's a lot on his shoulder. Already been named the starting quarterback. You have a 4 or 5 star behind him in Deuce Knight that is very capable of taking that spot. And I like Arnold here for the season he has. He has a 2 year in the SEC, 2 years in the SEC. So it's again, I don't think it's the biggest drop off as where Ty could be if he falls off at Alabama. But Deuce, like I said, Deuce Knight is in the rings. I think that quarterback room is full, but it's full in a good way. But like I said, I'm excited about Arnold for the Auburn side of me. I'm excited for Arnold. We know he's probably got the best receiving corps in the SEC, besides maybe outside LSU.
LSU got some studs.
Yes, they do have some thoroughbred ball catchers. So, anywho,
where did you have him on your list?
On my initial list, Jackson Arnold at 9.
Okay, I had him at 8. So, mediocre, we think. Well, not mediocre. Some of these quarterbacks in the SEC are good. But we figured, 8, there's 7 quarterbacks as of right now that are better than Jackson Arnold. And, I want to see more out of him this year. Again, not for an Auburn fan, but for a football fan, for a fan base that's been needing a quarterback for 2013, 15, it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I wish I could have found that TikTok I was telling you about with all the quarterbacks it's been through after 2010.
You never sent it to me. I ain't never seen it.
I know Brandon Cox. That was a couple of old.
Chris Todd.
Oh yeah. Malik Miller or Willis.
Anywho.
Frank Squirrel. Yeah. Anywho. Excited.
Yeah. Number 7 on our list brings us the outstanding freshman from last year, number 7, Marcel Reed, 2,223 yards, 16 touchdowns, 1,863, was that passing yards to us the year?
I would think so.
It is. 2023, 374 yards passing. 2024 last year, 1,864 yards passing, 147 completions, 240 attempted. And then 8 touchdowns to 543 yards. Okay. Seven of those were last year. But Marcel Reed took over the starting job from Connor Weigman and never looked back, honestly. And that's what, Connor, he got hurt. He came back. He played a couple games. They flip-flopped. Hey, we're going to play the hot hand. We're going to play the hot hand. Cool. I understand. Quarterback battle is one of the hardest positions to play in the SEC. But with Marcel Reed doing what he did last year as a freshman inside the SEC, throwing for 1,864 yards, earned him that spot as number 7 on our list, which I had him right at a 7.
I had him a little bit lower. I had him at 11. But like you said, for coming in and being a freshman and his poise, he did struggle late, but I think he's got a little help around him. And the biggest question too for me, and I know you as well, as we talked about in the last episode, what is the sophomore slump and how bad it's going to hurt him, or is he going to just rip through it?
Yeah. And the time will tell with Marcel Reed at number 7. Does he improve his stock by the end of the season? Does he fall down a little bit? I think he might honestly finish the season right where he is in that average at best, not average, the good but not great category of this.
Good, bad, ugly kind of thing.
Yeah. So
yeah, and that's when I talk to Hayden, he's excited about Texas A&M. So,
I mean, it's a good one to be excited for. Then next one brings us our transfer from Washington State University at number 6, John Mateer, 239 yards complete. God dang, man, numbers today.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, 239 yard completions, 366 attempts, 3,406 yards, 31 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 15 touchdowns, and 826 yards, and that was just last year.
And that was from Washington?
Washington State, yeah. 1 year starter at Washington State, that was last year. He's only a junior this year.
You got a barn over there.
Yeah, could be 2 years of him in Boomerland.
I like the kid. Like I said, didn't watch him much play, but stats speak for itself. He likes to tuck the ball. It looks maybe short yardage, goal line, not goal line, red zone package for him. Kind of don't get this wrong. Not comparing him any to Johnny Manziel, because that was once, I don't say once in a lifetime thing, but I don't know. I'm excited for this kid because Oklahoma's going to need all the help they can get to dig themselves out of the hole that they dug in last year. So hopefully this is their shiny nickel and a pile of pennies.
Don't you know him and Jaden Nutt, new quarterback running back duo up there in Boomerland. So it's going to be really excited to see this play out. I had him at number 3 on my list, breaking bronze. I feel like there's a great upside for this kid inside that Venables offense in Oklahoma this year.
Yeah. I'm just like you said with the offense. I don't think it'll be a breakout year. Maybe if he has a decent year, comes back next year as a senior, he could be more polished. But like I said, once we're almost through with our list here, and now I'm even excited for the end of the year list to see where these guys finish up.
And we didn't know it was making an end of the year list until about 10 minutes ago. So thank you for joining us for that one.
Right? Breaking news.
Breaking new news.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to bring you our top 5.
That'll
work too. And number 5 on our list is the big old boy, the 6'3", 239-pound true freshman last year, DJ Lagway. Had completed 115 passes on 192 attempts for 60% completion rate, 1,915 yards, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, got sacked 13 times, 50 carries on 101 yards rushing the ball. So he likes to chunk it, Pigskin. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Detailed backup, it says Lagway continued to 115 of 92. Did you read that part?
No, I didn't read that, but I read.
It was the same thing, but
I didn't read other stats down there.
101 yards on 51 attempts. Lagway's passer rating was 154.9, which led all FBS and true freshmen with at least 150 attempts. So, and he also had a crazy stat too. He had 12 40-plus yard completions.
Catches, yeah.
So, I like him. I think there's, and as much as heck as we gave Florida last year, I think there's something. I think there's something in the Gatorade down there. They can be brewing up a possible top team in the SEC.
Ooh, that's a bold statement.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
That's a bold move because I have him at the bottom of my list. So it's two different things, you know.
And I talked to Hayden, and Hayden kind of agrees with, you know, if they can. Does that ball got blue laces? Squirrel. But no,
It does though.
If I don't, I don't know. I think there's something in the Gatorade. I really do.
Again, he's one of those guys, but he has that SEC experience in starting as a true freshman. So this is why he's kind of, you know, he could also be on that sophomore slump list as we talked about. Totally forgot about him, honestly. But
sure enough,
this is why he's so high on our list because he faced those teams as a true freshman. So excited to see where this kid goes next year as number 5. Can't spell.
Yeah, it happens.
And we're going to bring you number 4 on our list, and that's the kid for the Commodores, Diego Pavia. Started his career in 2022 at New Mexico State University, and then continued on.
That was San Diego State who beat Auburn, wasn't it?
It was New Mexico State. It was him.
Oh, suck again.
And then Vanderbilt transferred to Vanderbilt last year. This kid is an absolute stud, to say the least. New Mexico.
Yes, sir.
What the piss is that? What is it? NMMI.
Hold up, let me find it. Where do you see that?
Is that his high school?
New Mexico State, whatever you. I guess it might be.
I don't care about high school. Anywho.
Like I said, it was
this was all just jammed together.
Last minute productions.
6,000 career passing yards. It's pretty good for a kid that's thrown not even 20 interceptions on his career.
Yeah, I just don't know if Pavia's going to have the weapons he had last year.
No.
One of the great stories of SEC and college football last year was Pavia and the Commodores, you know, beating Alabama and beating Auburn as well. I mean, that wasn't a big story to beat Auburn, but I don't know if there'll be enough there to have a top season. But looking at it from, you know, hopefully if he can still grab onto some of the fumes that he had last year, I think he can stay about where he's at.
Yeah. You know, I had him at a 4. I feel like this is a perfect spot for him. So it's just coming into it and see where it all plays out for him. But now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Our top 3. And if you know anything from last year, you know what that sound is. But this brings us number 3, our bronze medalist. Passing yards, 55, or I want to say yards every time. 55 completions on 78 attempts, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 13 attempts rushing the ball, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that is the number 16 for the Texas Longhorns, Arch Manning.
I think the only place Arch can go is up right now. I mean, just wow. What do you? I mean, back up to Ewers. He did. I mean, 900 yards. That's a. What's he going into? His junior, senior,
sophomore.
Oh, so he can have a sophomore slump too.
Well, I mean, he's been on. I'm talking about true freshmen as a sophomore slump.
Right. But no.
His sophomore slump was last year.
Yeah. I like Arch. I mean, he may be 1 or 2 of the guys that I could see in like player of the year, or maybe not the winner, but in the talks throughout the year of a Heisman if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I had him coming in at number 5, which if you listened to us last year, you know how much I dogged this man.
Yeah, you did get
when the season started. I got to shut up real quick, but I do want to see more. But I feel like having him inside the top 5, he has a lot of upside. He has that name. Can he live up to that name, though, is my question.
So far, so good. I mean, and it's a shocker that, I won't say a shocker, that he stayed. Because when you're paying that kid that much amount of money, of course he's going to stay. But I think he can really step on, make his own name. I mean, Manning's attached to Peyton and Archie and Eli. But I think this could be a standout season for him. But I don't know about Texas all the way as good as they were last year.
Right, and that's going to be something that time can only tell inside the season. So now we move over to our silver medalist, number 2, which brings us to a kid from South Carolina, Lenore Sellers, who's going to be a sophomore this upcoming season. 196 completions on 299 attempts. I'll get it out. Bear with me. 66 completion rating, 2,534 yards, 18 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's a good ratio. Sacked 33 times. Lenore's. Okay. We both had him at 2, I want to say. Or did you have him at 1?
Actually, I had him at 3.
Okay. So, comes in at our silver medalist. There's a lot to go with this kid. Which way do you want to go, But here's the thing. I have him as my number 2 quarterback coming into this season as we do competitive together. There we go. I need to stop using the big words.
Yeah, I know, you're going to choke on him.
This kid could end up, at the end of this season, falling out of that top 10.
I most definitely think that. I really like this Sellers, but I don't think the team around him is going to keep him in this top spot.
He had some great games, that they could have won last year, but injuries kept him off the field. They had to put Robbie Ashford in, and it just didn't go well.
Yeah, poor Robbie on his 12th school.
Oh, Wobby. But if you've been counting cards over here, you obviously know who's number 1.
Yeah, by no stretch of the means.
And that number 1 player coming into this next season, as per us, is Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. There we go. Garrett Nussmeier has spent his whole career at LSU, which that shocks me. You don't see this nowadays.
Nope.
Behind Burrow. Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Mm-mm. Whoever is behind. But the kid can't run the ball. Let's get that right.
Do you see that stat I was talking about?
Negative 98 rushing yards on 3 rushing touchdowns for his career. It's great. Which, it only came in last year, which, more game time. 34 carries last year, negative 38 yards. But this kid looks to be the top quarterback, could be in the nation. 466 completions on 744 attempts, 40 touchdowns, 5,772 yards, and right at a 59.6 completion percentage.
The only, I do like Nussmeier, I think, especially with the weapons that Kelly has gathered around him, can be in the finalists for the Heisman. But the only chink in the iron here is look at how many games he struggled to get through last year. I would say had to be more than 3 or 4. The early loss in the season, he struggled down a little bit late. For his whole season, a lot of these stats come last year because that was his
breakout.
That was really his breakout as far as the interceptions and the sacks and the touchdowns. Because I think it was around 20. He only had 22, 28 completions in the first 2, something like that. Then it was over 200 and something last year. That's the only chink in the armor I can see here for Nussmeier and the Tigers just because we have seen him struggle. Now, we know once he does struggle, he does find a way, shaking off, to that next man up mentality where he gets it figured out. But that's the only thing I can see that would keep him being that one or two numbered quarterback in the nation this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got some tough competition, we all know. But, far ahead of anybody inside the SEC, I feel like.
But, all right. So, we're closing down this episode. Todd, not really a hot topic, but let's get your final thoughts here on how the SEC quarterbacks are going to look, or, who's going to be 1, who's going to be 16 kind of thing.
I think it's going to be a great year for everybody. I mean, number 16 could definitely be, again, that Bo kid, Bo, I don't care, Bo. Or somebody like, Zach Calzada, he could have a bad year. And then number 1 definitely could stay at, Garrett Nussmeier. It could be Arch. It could even be Diego Pavia. You can interswap, whatever, 1 through 5, and that could be number 1 at the end of the season. Pavia, Nussmeier, Sellers, Lagway, Mateer, all those guys right there could definitely be number 1 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So definitely going to be a tight race coming down to it.
That was the only thing I didn't get time to do, but when I was going getting their stats and all this was find pros and cons for each quarterback. Like if they had a good line coming back, or the receiving core like Auburn has and LSU, then you play into other stuff like you talked about, the cover curves and slumps and all that. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to break down to the people around them. We know all these guys are super talented to begin with. They're starting at an SEC school. So at the end, I mean, we could have, of course, the Braves are doing Brave stuff. But no, anyway, like I said, we know they're all top tier quarterbacks, but the people around them, I think, is going to be their biggest Achilles heel or their biggest weapon to stay in the top.
Definitely. And then as we wrap up this episode from all of it, we're going to bring you the update on the all-time logo tournament brought to you by the Under Review Podcast. Last week we brought you the number 5 matchup between LSU and Vanderbilt, which we thought was going to be close, but absolutely was not a chance in Hades. LSU runs away with this one.
Yeah, that's what I asked Brittany when we were sitting on the couch the other day. I said, hey, just take a look. She said, LSU's up by a little bit. And like a day or so later, you sent me the numbers. I was like, oh, that's not a little bit, my friend.
That's more like a lot of bit.
And the one thing I do want to say about what we've done with this logo challenge, the support that we're getting from the fans and having, 2 and 3, 4, 5, 600 people go in and vote. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. Keep doing it because we're getting down to close to, I think, starting second round week after next.
A couple weeks. But the best part is, if you like voting on Facebook, we have some very interesting stuff for you when the season starts.
No, copyright.
Yeah. But this next matchup brings us to 6 seed South Carolina Bulldogs and the number 11 Arkansas Ridgeback. This is a terrible matchup. Let me just get this out there. This matchup sucks.
All right, so
neither one of these should go on.
No, so let's break this down. Almost the same color patterns. Mm-hmm. They're both facing the left and right. They're both got their... Okay, I've never noticed that. That looks totally... Okay, never mind what I thought that was. But like I said, there's... Yeah, this is probably...
I see it.
You see it now?
If we're talking about what I'm... Yeah.
Yep.
Anywho. Yeah.
I'm 38 years old, and I've been to JSU games and all that, and I'm just now... I don't know. This is... I don't even know I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote, but...
I'm going to have to give it to South Carolina. just because I don't like seeing that pig. I don't. I really don't. It's cool.
Hey,
It's not the best one, though.
I wish the fans would have got that meth pig. Remember that black pig that they had? That was one of my favorites. He looked like he had been on a bender for 4 days, just out beside the dumpster at Walmart. But exactly. So I do, like I said, I do like the athletic of the South Carolina. Like I said, these are not the best logos, but I think even Arkansas had like 7 or 8 logos.
Yeah.
And we got the basic of the basic. It's their most updated. But anyway, when are we gonna get that one posted?
Right after you get done watching this episode, it'll be available to you live on Facebook.
All right. Let me get a swig and I'll get on my spiel here. Guys, if you have a special player in your life, no matter the sport, football, baseball, basketball, cricket, whatever, volleyball, water polo, customize that. What is the word I'm looking for? Commemorative that. Here at Under Review Customs, I can get you something made up. Cards, 8x10s. I'm starting to do 11x14 slabs, game covers, anything that you need. Woman, you make the food. Contact me at 205-885-1137. Hey, Bubby. Or find me on Facebook, Instagram, or my email, underreviewcustoms@yahoo.
Like I said, everything you need to know is on our Facebook, and also is going to be in the description below. Look at everything. We also have what we call blank next week.
I was thinking, yeah.
Like always, want to thank God for everything He's done.
We're not done with the slideshow.
How are we not done with the slideshow?
Can you not see it?
We're bumping at 57 minutes. I'm kind of hungry.
I know Brittany's whooping up tacos now. Look at the screen, do that, and then we'll get out of here.
Once she stops boiling water over there.
Well, why don't you use a strainer?
Anywho, Wild Country Homestead is me and my wife's homestead. We have bread, we have cinnamon rolls, we have eggs, quail eggs, pickled eggs. We have sourdough, we have yeast rolls.
So good.
Anything you can think of, all you got to do is ask. We got it. Just find us at Wild with the E, WILDE, Country Homestead on Facebook.
Yeah, I talked to her yesterday. Mom finally brought some of that bread down. So good.
The bread is good.
Again, guys, first of all, we want to thank God, our wives, everybody for getting this together, all our sponsors, all our friends that help us out with this. Again, season hasn't started yet. Be on the lookout for our sponsorship plans. Contact us. We're also on TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And like always, thank you for joining us on episode 55, and we'll see you next time as we go under the monitor.
Thanks for making the call to go under review. Join us next time as we go to the monitors. Until then, keep your flag handy.